been deeply opposed to crypto.
Last year, cryptocurrency funded every kind of dangerous criminal.
But I would not touch crypto in a million years.
Bitcoin is going to zero.
If I was the government, I'd close it down.
People are losing money in scams and huckster flim-flam artists.
These people who own these things should not own your money in any of those. I do think you're an idiot, okay?
It's over.
Go fuck yourself.
Is that clear?
Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. I think the last time I did this was Thursday. I'm sorry I've been pretty sporadic as of late. Thank you to the 57 people who are already here. We're going to be going over a lot of stuff today. Again, I'm not going to be showing my portfolio anymore. I just don't have the energy for it. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. I said it in the last video. I will show the portfolio allocation, though, and I should get that updated soon. That hasn't changed much, and I'll go over that in a little bit here, too. The only thing that's happened is some of the option plays have lost value, so they're a lower percentage now, but I haven't really sold anything in weeks. So that's kind of, a non-event. Let's see, Maytag, here we go. Hit the like button, everybody. Yeah, if you guys could do that, that'd be great. So first and foremost, we're going to be going over a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of U.S. economic data that's very interesting. We'll talk about that crazy boom on Friday with the S&P and how it's rocketed up. I'm going to gloss over Berkshire Hathaway going down 99% today. And our favorite roaring kitty having $180 million in GameStop. I'm still just going to say that's a really bad idea. But hey, whatever. It's risk on, right? We can tell the markets are enjoying risk. And I can't hate on that at all for any reason. So we'll let it proceed. Now, I did want to say I did a little bit of research into containerized freight index, and I still have a bunch of questions. As far as I can tell, though, the reason we're climbing so quickly is because of increased trade between like China, the United States, and Europe. I don't know if this is partially China dumping a bunch of EVs in these different markets, or at least in Europe. I don't know exactly what it's all about yet. I need to figure that out, though, because again, we're looking at levels. When we go back here, this goes back to about 2013. We're looking at levels that are vastly abnormal and that have started since the end of 2023. Some of this could be tied in with what's happening in the Red Sea, maybe with Israel and Palestine. But this is still there's a crazy amount of demand for containerized freight, and I don't understand all the root causes of it yet. So I'm going to do some research. I asked Grok. Grok was very amusing. Seems to know about as much as I do. So I'm gonna continue. Probably shouldn't use fun mode when I'm doing research. That's probably the moral of the story there. So, but yeah, I'm still gonna be trying to figure that out because there's something going on there. And again, this kind of jump, if this proceeded to get near all-time highs at the 5,000 range per container versus what the normal would be, sub 1,000, that could get interesting. So definitely something to pay attention to. All right, real quickly, I want to jump over here. We're going to, like I said, let's go through some economic data. We'll go through that. I'll try and keep up with comments a little bit better than I have been. And then at the same time, we're going to hit Bitcoin. We're going to hit Tesla. We're going to hit a bunch of stuff. I should probably, real quickly, before we even go into all this economic data, I want to look at something else real quick. We're going to look at some heat indexes for the day, because it has been an interesting one. So you can see where Nvidia just skyrocketed again today. None of the other chips, nobody gives a shit about the other chips. Nvidia is the winner, and winner takes most, right? James from Invest Answers loves to say that, and it is true. You can definitely see that in a number of areas. But so the markets today pretty red. Even Tesla down 0.99 or 0.99%. But I don't know. It's just a different feeling market right now, and one that kind of has me excited. So real quickly, let's jump over and look at the crypto heat index too, and just get that out of the way. This is what I like. What I like is the GameStop phenomenon kicking in, and then seeing crypto across. The technicals look great. The fundamentals look great. We'll cover all of it a little bit later. But again, this is looking risk on to me. Got a bunch of other good data from my buddy Seth and a ton of other people too. Kind of talking to the U.S. economy stuff and the S&P and the indices, and we'll hash that out as well. But I'm really thinking that we're ready for some breakout, and very, very excited for it. I think we all should be. There's a reason why I'm just not posting every day. Again, I was doing 6 days a week, sometimes 8 videos a week, and I feel like I'm saying the same shit over and over again, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to take 3-hour videos multiple days a week. I'd rather keep this down to like an hour and a half, maybe have 2 or 3 a week, and provide some value. So that's what I'm trying to do, and we will make that happen. Let's look at the S&P. So again, one thing I want to point out, people were asking about last week and how we had that nice bounce. And I just want to point that out. Not just last week. Look at this. So we had the wicked wick down to the previous fib level, right? And the 50 moving average on the daily time frame for the S&P. And then what happened? We just careened higher and had an awesome close. Then today we opened up, we started to fall hard, and then look what happened. We screamed higher again. This is not a weak-looking indice. This is a very strong-looking indice, and I'm very happy to see it. NASDAQ, again, same concept. Look at this, under the .618 golden retracement zone. Broke underneath of it. Couldn't even get to the 50 on the daily moving average, and then just, boom, above all previous resistance like it was a rocket ship. And same thing. Again, these indices are getting bought up in the afternoons, and I've never hated that pattern, I can tell you that. I'd rather see them dip in the mornings, get people buying, and then have them jump later. That's the move you want. Now, if we look at the Russell, kind of the same, not as dramatic, but again, I think everybody's in GameStop and Nvidia and crypto, so maybe that's why it's not as dramatic. People aren't eyeing small caps too much yet, but I think they will be, and I'm very excited to see that coming in the days ahead too. Let's real quickly, we'll roll through the dollar. The dollar getting butchered. We've got like this inverse W here, double top. It's about as beautiful as it can get. And these double tops, man, they mean it's time to go down. And the measured move could be pretty decent. It could get us down to the 50, the 100 here. And that kind of stuff, again, huge benefit to Tesla. Don't forget about Tesla, people. Gold. Let's look at some shitty gold. How are we doing, gold? Gold is up. Oh, wow, it's exciting. It's up 22% in 13 years. I feel like I just say the same thing about gold all the time. Doesn't really do anything. Oil. Oh, and I'm going to shit on gold more later. Give me some time. Tweezer top, or I should say inverse tweezer, pulling down. Oil's at $77. This pattern just looks horrific if you're long oil. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Let me jump out to the weekly here real quick to kind of see where, if any, we have support. Probably the 50 moving average. I think we're testing that again. And if we test that, coming back for a trip on it, it just doesn't look good, right? If we look, well, let's go over here. I need to get rid of that. That's my trend line. So maybe it doesn't look as dire as I want. It still looks dire, though. Look at this wick. Look at this giant wick. Finally getting to candle body over here on the weekly time frame. If we close the week like down here with a wick like that, we could definitely test lower into the lower 70s. Again, and it's just a sign that there's just not that much demand. This does not look like a bullish pattern in any way. And if we break under the 200 and start printing weeklies under there, woof, that's going to hurt the oil guys. All right, what do we got here? Hey, Jesse, double checking that it was helping me with setting Coinbase, hard wallet, etc. Double checking that. What do you mean? Sorry. You try to set up a Coinbase wallet? I mean, they have a wallet. You can't really call it a hard wallet. It's a soft wallet. There are physical wallets you can get, but that would not be the same as Coinbase. At least I don't think they have one yet. I mean, we're seeing one from Square, but not Coinbase. Move index started bouncing the other week, and it's kind of tabling off here and seems to be calming down again, well underneath. If we go back here, let's just go to the monthly because it takes a while to go back. the thing I like about this is, again, it just looks like it's in a pattern. I want to see, I would actually like to see us break lower. I'd like to see us get to 77, just really indicating weakness. But if we do that, the stock market's going up so much. So that's probably going to be like hindsight is 2020. Looking at the 2-year, again, this is one of the best ones to follow because it's a shorter time frame. But you can see it dropped 1.25%, and it looks double toppy as well. So likely to go down. I don't hate it. Let's look at the inversion on the bond market. The inversion looks like it started to go up and looked like it was going to close, and that's usually when we see signs of a recession, at least historically. I don't know that actually means anything. We've got one of the longest inversion in history, again, we're just in an era of money printing, so I don't even know if we can count this stuff anymore. I want to look at the yen. So the yen today started to weaken a little bit. Still looks a little bouncy, but I'm sorry, this is the 2-month. Let's get to the weekly. It'll be better. So it's too hard to really know what we're doing here yet. But I don't know. I think it's going to break down. I think we're doing enough trading with Japan in order to be able to make it to where our treasury market remains stable, and so I'm not really worried about it. Let's see how China and the yuan are doing. A little bit of strength. I don't hate that. I think a lot of people are starting to place long bets on China. I think that's the stupidest fucking thing you could do. But hey, man, whatever. Whatever creates liquidity and allows the markets to go up where I can benefit, make a bunch of money off of Tesla and Bitcoin. You guys want to be foolish with your money? It's all good. All right, let's see. Concord, S&P rebalancing is supposed to be announced on Friday, June 7th. Maybe adding Palantir. That'd be cool. I love Palantir. I think I have a share. So probably underallocated to that. But I hope everybody does really good on it. I hope it goes up for you, not for me. I hope it goes down for me. All right, let me see here. What else do I want to look at real quick? Nope. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to jump in real quickly. We're going to go back. We're going to go back here. We're going to go back to economic data because I want to talk through it. Some of the stuff that we were seeing today. So this is kind of fascinating. Let me zoom in here. So maybe one more. Yeah, it's a little more readable. So a couple things today. S&P Global Manufacturing PMI final, right? For Great Britain was good and strong. This is interesting. And then we're going to jump into the U.S. But why is this interesting? This is the best read that the U.K. has had on manufacturing going back to like 2022. So that's good. I would actually say that this is a good thing. If anybody has a bead on the UK, on why this wouldn't be exceptional and indicate a strengthening of their economy, I would love to hear it because that's what I'm seeing, and I like that. Now, in the United States, the PMI, we saw, let's see what we had here. Let me go up. So we had, was revised higher. So let me read this real quick. S&P Global U.S. Manufacturing PMI was revised higher to 51.3 in May 2024 from preliminary 50.9 and compared to 50 in April. So we're seeing a strengthening and we're in expansion territory in the S&P for PMI, for the S&P Global for manufacturing. This is a good thing. This is what we want to see. We want to see revisions going higher in this, right? So it's nice to see some strength in manufacturing. Now the ISM manufacturing PMI was lower. Consensus was 49.6 and forecast was 50. Let's take a look here real quick. So again, it's in contraction territory. We don't totally love that, but I'm going to show you some stuff that'll counter that. That's making me happy. But let's read this real quick. The ISM manufacturing PMI unexpectedly edged lower to 48.7 in May of 2024 from 49.2 in April, below forecast of 49.6. The reading showed another contraction for the manufacturing activity as demand was soft again, output was stable, and inputs stayed accommodative. A decline was seen for new orders, inventories, and backlog of orders. Also, there's a reason I'm reading this to you, and you're going to figure it out in a little bit. Also, production slowed 50.2 versus 51.3. On the other hand, employment rebounded 51.1 in expansion territory versus 48.6. Why would manufacturers be hiring more? Why would they be expanding? So this is interesting. So let's just go back here real quick. So employment data, we see a 51.1 versus a 48.5 and a 49 for consensus and forecast. Why? So the ISM is weaker than the S&P Global Manufacturing, right? But this is a very interesting data point that you need to be paying attention to. We're in expansion territory again for the ISM manufacturing employment data, and it's showing a little bit of strength. And we like that because, again, this kind of looks like a bottoming pattern, and we're starting to see a trend up here where if we break above like 51.4, that's the highest level we've seen since September of 2022. So you got the UK manufacturing sector getting stronger at levels not seen in years, and now potentially the ISM is getting that way, and the S&P 500 manufacturing is looking great too. So I like this. I think this is decent. Construction spending month over month is down 0.1% versus what was expected at 0.2 and 0.1, whatever. New orders are down, but again, this is interesting. So if new orders are down, why are we hiring more people? So I think the next couple of months of data points are going to be very, very interesting. And again, these were down by a decent amount. So this is ISM again showing weakness, 49.4 consensus, 50 for the forecast, but we only got 45.4. Here's another good thing though. So there's some weirdness here, right? Where we're seeing strength in manufacturing, we're seeing strength in ISM manufacturing for employment, but then we're seeing weakness in new orders and construction spending in other areas. But we're also seeing a contraction, still in expansion territory, but we're seeing a contraction in manufacturing prices, which is good. So we want to see the top of this number. Now, we'll see if next month it starts to expand again, but I would love to see this come down. It'll really crush some of the inflation narrative. But again, there is some weird stuff going on because containerized freight is going up and up and up. So we need to figure out this situation with inflation and whether or not we're going to be seeing weakness in the future or not. Thank you to the 234 people who are here. If you could hit the like, it is greatly appreciated. The more you guys do that, the more likely I am to make these videos and work harder on my content. So it is really helpful. All right, let me go back. I think that's about it. I think that's it for this. Now, I do want to point out, we're in September, which again, my buddy Caleb was right about this. I hate saying that over and over again. But he said a long time ago that he thought it was going to be September. I still think it's dumb luck, even though he's a smart guy. But I'll give it to him. He does appear to be right. And so right now, July is only like 14.5% of a reduction. So maybe we still get July because, again, we got that month gap where we go June, July, skip August, then go to September. So maybe the Fed still surprises us with the 15% chance of lowering, or 14.5% chance of lowering in July. I would love that because then I can go back to Caleb and be like, dude, you were wrong. I mean, I was still wrong because I thought we would do it in March. So I can't rub it in too much, but I'll try. Anyway, September, though, you got to love it. Almost 60% chance of lowering rates by that time. And we need to. There's a bunch of reasons why. I'll go over some of them in a second. All right, now we're going to go into the U.S. economic data and some of the stuff that I've posted on X that I want to talk about. So I like my buddy over here. What's his name again? Ryan Detrick. He's good. He's good at like contrarian view, and he's quite the optimistic person. And I love his face. I mean, look at this guy. He's just happy all the time. So how can you not be optimistic when you're this guy? Now, there's something he points out here. He says inflation's up 18% since February of 2020. I mean, it depends on what you're measuring there, but whatever. We'll just give him that using headline PCE. Okay. I mean, if you look at like real estate prices, any other number of things, it's up by a lot more. But whatever. Both employee compensation and disposable personal income are up 24 to 25%. So this is interesting. Again, it's just something else to think about. We did a bunch of money printing. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of people that are in bonds, treasuries that are making so much in return, and soon the rates are going to start to lower, and they're going to have to figure out whether or not they want to lock in bonds for over the long term, or whether they're a little bit optimistic and they should be purchasing equities or Bitcoin or something else because maybe the economy's starting to reboot. And we're seeing like maybe little signs that this is happening in a number of ways. I mean, again, the S&P, the last 2 days of trading is just sick, I think. It's very awesome to see that we're getting bought up in the afternoons. So this is just another sign, though, that, again, there's been inflation in prices, but if compensation is keeping up fairly well with it, I actually disagree with him. I think that inflation is up higher than 18% since February 2020 by a number of measures. Maybe it's 30%, maybe it's even more. Just the money printing alone, right, has been a huge number. So depending upon how you're gauging it, I do think that it's actually outpacing income and compensation for employees. But at the same time, it's not that bad. This isn't that big of a drag. And so I think that things are a lot stronger than people believe. And again, this is an article talking about the UK manufacturing sector. We kind of already talked about it, but it's just indicating that there's strength here and that it's surprising levels of strength. And again, the Europe is getting ready to lower rates, guys. So rocket fuel is going to be coming, and we've got China desperately trying to save their failing economy, which will fail no matter what, I think, in the next year and a half. Dramatically, badly, like depression type shit. But again, feel free to follow me in case I'm wrong. You can tell me so. I won't be. Not on this one. Anyway, Grant Hawkridge, he says there are lots of uptrends in the market right now, and all he's talking about in here is the percentage of S&P 500 sectors with 50-day moving averages that are greater than the 200. So basically, the shorter time frame is doing a lot better than it's done over the last 200 days previously. So we want to see that. We want to see this massive uptrend where we're seeing outperformance like 77% across these different sectors of the S&P. So it just shows market breadth and strength, and we love that. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. We're going to see more of it, I believe. Now, Kobayashi letter, kind of the opposite of my friend Ryan Dedrick up here as far as the happiness level. Little doom and gloom. But he says Americans are literally doom and gloom. Americans are no longer able to move into a new home. Currently, just 21% of Americans believe it's a good time to buy a home, the lowest share on record. This is a sharp decline from 53% seen in 2021. Meanwhile, 75% of U.S. adults claim it's a bad time to buy a house, near the record of 78% polled last year. So for 2 years now, a year and a half, we've got people who think it's a horrific time to buy a home. And you know what? That shows that 3/4 of the country actually knows what the fuck is going on, because it is a horrible time to buy a house right now, unless you're getting ready to refi later and they've started dropping prices on like some big mega home. It's kind of what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping I want to spend a couple million on a house here in the next 2 years. So at least one, because I need an upgrade. My house is not that nice. I got a Cybertruck that's probably like a third or fourth the value of my home. So it's time for an upgrade. But anyway, I digress. Americans' pessimism about the market reflects record home prices, limited supply, and elevated mortgage rates. Higher prices and higher rates are the new normal. I disagree. I think higher prices are coming down, at least where I live, and I live in a really hot market in the Midwest, where things are everything. We're just building stuff fucking everywhere. It doesn't matter what it is, commercial, industrial, residential, apartments, blah, blah, blah. There's just shit going up everywhere. But you're still seeing like higher end homes lowering in price, and you're seeing some people doing seller financing. Like one of the homes I was looking at was like a little over $2 million. They're looking to give you a 4% interest rate seller financing for this place. So they're desperate to get out of these. This house has been on the market for a year and a half, and it's beautiful. So, but they can't sell it because nobody wants to buy a $2 million house with interest rates at 7%. I mean, who the fuck would want to do that? So I think prices are going to come down. I think rates are going to come down. And so I disagree with Kobayashi. Higher for longer is not what's coming. We're going to be aggressively lowering rates. We're going to do that to reboot the economy. We're in a state in the government where we can't operate without printing money. It's not a great place to be. We definitely need to have people like Elon and Bitcoin save us. These two things need to save us. If they don't, we're pretty fucked. The world's fucked, and China's fucked first. But maybe by some miracle we can actually start outpacing these things, and life gets better. Well, let me see what else I got. And then my buddy Jeff, he was around when I was on the Facebook a long time ago. He says build more homes, and he's right. Simple solution, guys. Build more fucking homes. Let's do that. Biden, what does this say? Buys 3 million more barrels for strategic oil reserve. About fucking time. Do more of that. Build up our oil reserve. We need to. We ran it down long enough. Oil prices are not at a bad price right now. Start stocking up. We might need it someday. All right. K. Kim. This guy's great. If you don't follow him on X, you should. So he said the QQQ, basically the S&P, right? Monthly bars with the oscillator. The oscillator reset red circle twice in the last 15 years, 2023 and 2009. So what he's saying here is that the oscillation we're seeing from what happened from the pandemic and then 2022, all this shit, like the craziness of the ups and downs and collapse in 2022, to where we're sitting right now is indicative of the fact that we had if it's anything like 2008, we had the bottom. We had the fucking bottom. Not that we can't have another one in a year or two. If global liquidity, if Michael Howell and his team are right, along with a bunch of others, about global liquidity cycles, and the end of 2025 comes and we start to dip again, maybe we're headed back down to this number for the first time in a long time. But I do think, again, the Fed's got to print. We're too indebted. We got to print money. We got to lower rates. We have no choice. It's how the world works now. That's what 2008 did. And we gotta print. But if our government actually starts buying Bitcoin, or if we start supporting Bitcoin like some presidential candidates want to do, 2 out of 3 really that stand a chance, right? Robert F. Kennedy, Donald Trump, and I don't know what the fuck Biden's doing nowadays. He vetoed a fucking bill he said he was going to pass. So I don't know what's going on with that guy, but we almost had 3 out of 3, and I guess it just means that there's going to be one guy that's not going to get reelected by any fucking chance. Whatever, not my problem. All right, let's keep going. Maybe this is freight costs. Oh, yeah, so my friend Michael Ron Bowling, he follows China a lot. He said U.S. Customs inspecting all e-commerce shipments from China and finding a lot of illegal stuff like fentanyl. This, honestly, is the greatest prevailing theory that I have towards why we're seeing a massive increase in some of the freight. Don't get me wrong, the Red Sea stuff is a thing. I do think traffic has picked up a little bit, but not enough to be able to cause this kind of increase from 1,000 to 3,000. That's a 200% increase, right? That's a crazy number, and I don't think it's that. I do think it's this. And if you read this article, it's damning. I could repost this again too, but it basically talks about how we're inspecting fucking everything. And these Temu shipments and all the shit, we're inspecting all of it, and we're finding fentanyl, we're finding all kinds of illegal goods that shouldn't be in the country. And I think we're doing this to really crack down on China and let them know we're serious about the things we've been talking about. So it looks like Biden's able to do something right, which is a nice change of fucking pace for quite a while. And don't get me wrong, there's some things I agree with him on, but like, gosh, he's just fucking up with crypto, man, and a lot of other stuff. But this is good. So our border protection guys, evidently we don't give a shit if things come through Mexico, but we do care about stuff coming from China through our ports. It's progress. I'll take it. But you guys should check this article out. It talks about how we're just inspecting the shit out of everything. So we're leaning in hard on China. And do you think Trump's going to be any nicer? I don't. Anyway. All right, Seth Golden, Houston. Come in, Houston. He goes, what recession concern investing does not look like in one chart? Equal weight consumer discretionary blasting off relative to equal weight consumer staples. Investor offensively invest on offense. He's just basically saying we're in full launch mode. And it's great. Let me go back here. So we're out of U.S. economy. I want to jump over to Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin probably launches before Tesla. Again, we got 8.8. We got the robotaxi. Maybe we got 2 new vehicles. We'll talk about stuff like that in a minute, but we got to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is going through so much right now. If you don't own any, you're missing out, man. Awesome opportunities coming your way. I would definitely own this shit over GME any day of the week. You got to remember, if Roaring Kitty is actually going to make money, if he gives a fuck at all about money, and maybe he doesn't, maybe he's just trying to fuck as many, shorts as he can. There's definitely enough of them in GameStop. That are big dollar guys that think they can take him down. I don't know. But if he becomes a billionaire, the only way he can really, and don't get me wrong, he could sell his calls and then he could buy more stock, and maybe that's the goal. Maybe he will own fucking GameStop by the end of this. I can't understand what's going on there anymore, but the company is shit. Can we just agree that GameStop is shit? Have you guys been in fucking GameStop? Do you really have to go to a store to be able to buy a fucking plushie or whatever bullshit you're getting at GameStop? Because you're not buying a fucking game. Does anybody with gaming actually play with physical games? Are you guys all fucking old? Or are you like new and young? And I don't even game, man, but I can tell you sure as fuck, I don't want to take a disc out of a thing and put it in another thing and then have to hope it isn't scratched and that it does something. So what the fuck is GameStop's even for? So really, it's just, let's just be genuine. The only reason you're investing in that bullshit is because it's the greater fool theory. That's all it is, right? And sticking it to the man, whatever the fuck that even means anymore for GameStop. But I don't know. You saw what happened last time, right? You saw what happened last time. People's dreams got fucking destroyed. Let's just jump over here real quick. I'm just going to, you know what? I don't want to talk about GameStop, but I'm going to fucking talk about GameStop because it annoys the shit out of me. How people love to lose money. So I just want to go back here and say like, oh, hey, cool. If you were Roaring Kitty and you own this at like down here at 60 cents, fucking cool. Then it went up to $106. Somewhere around here, I think he sold, Deep Fucking Value sold his shit like in the 50s, right? And then he let all the fucking idiots write it down to $9. Another 80% lower. And so now we know he bought that shit all probably slowly all the way down and then started getting into options. Great trade, by the way. He's a really good trader. And the fact that he has the biggest fucking following on earth might play some part into that. Not that it will keep him out of federal prison, because I'm sorry, when you start tweeting that you have $180 million fucking position in a company, and you have such a huge, massive following that you know the price is going to pump to $60 fucking dollars from $10 in a period of a few weeks, that is market manipulation, and it's going to end up fucking him someday. I don't know what the goal is anymore, but I can tell you this: don't own this shit. Don't own this fucking garbage. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you want to gamble or something, if that you got that little bit, maybe it's 5% of your portfolio, do it with that. Don't be a fucking idiot and put your life savings into this. Because if you were like some of the people in the movie that didn't sell when it was $120 a fucking share and you wrote it down to $10, you hate your life. You might never invest again. So don't be that. And I'm sorry, that pisses me off when somebody pumps a really shitty fucking stock so that they can sell it and then buy it back later and make a ton of money. And literally to it. And I'm sorry, Bitcoin is not that. Tesla is not that. A bunch of other companies. Palantir was not that. There are good, solid companies, solid investments that matter in this new world. This is not fucking one of them. Don't buy it at $40 today and then have it turn to $28 later. Just don't chase stupid shit. Please to God. All right, I'm done. Coming back to earth. I apologize. I'm just fucking pissing me off. Anyway, Bitcoin. All right, here. Back to an investment that isn't shit. 69.5. And I'm not jealous. Somebody posted on a fucking tweet that I'm jealous. I'm not jealous of this man, okay? He has to actually exit that position to have $180 million fucking dollars. And if he exits that position, he's destroying the price. And nobody will buy the fucking stock. If Roaring Kitty exits it, who's buying? No one. Even if he sold 50%, people would just expect it's going into a fucking winter again. Anyway, back to an asset that isn't shit. Bitcoin. This is a beautiful pattern. We're breaking out of it. It's really all I have to say. This is the weekly. We're going to start launching. I think it's just a matter of time before we head up to the $92,000 range, which is only 31% from where we're at. We're going to talk about a bunch of reasons why. Okay? Let's talk about Chamath. You know Chamath? It's rumored that he owned 1 million Bitcoin at one time. Have no idea how much he actually owns. He hasn't talked about this in like 8 or 9 years now. So that's interesting. I feel like a lot of people don't know that or even care, but very interesting. Anyway, he said it's going to completely replace gold as countries adopt it, potentially pushing its market capitalization towards gold's 15.7 trillion. That is about 11x from where we are right now. 11x. And here's the thing. That's just gold. It's just gold. One fucking asset. You also have to think about Bitcoin taking 1 or 2% of bonds value, because who the fuck wants to own bonds? You also have to think about Bitcoin taking 1 to 2% of real estate because it's fucking overpriced. It went up 50 to 100% in 4 years. It's not where you want to put your money right now. So where does 1 to 2%, just 1 to 2% goes to Bitcoin? I don't know, man. $1 million doesn't seem crazy. 200,000 seems pretty easy this cycle. $1 million does not actually seem crazy, and that's pretty crazy, I think. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. I will need to look at chat. I will do that in a little bit. Apologize, guys. I'm just in a mood. All right, this I want you to hear. We're going to zoom in a little bit. This is a fund, or this is talking to a fund that is holding Bitcoin after the recent ETF news. And so this is kind of fascinating. Things are changing. The world is changing. It's becoming Bitcoin. And if you can't understand that, you're going to fucking miss out on the greatest wealth transfer on the history, or in the history, not on, in the history of this fucking planet, along with Tesla and some other companies that are pretty fucking great. But these two are the big ones.
The Wisconsin Pension Fund, ranked as one of the most fiscally sound in the nation, took bold action this year. It invested in Bitcoin. Most all government workers are part of the employee trust fund that pays out retirement benefits. But for a pension fund widely known for being stable, prudent, and smart with investments, is this a departure or right on brand? Our next guest says it's certainly turning heads. We should note PBS Wisconsin employees are participants in the Wisconsin retirement system. We are joined by David Krause, Marquette University Emeritus Associate Professor of Finance. And thanks very much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
So what is the reaction within the kind of investment industry to this news?
The investment industry is pretty amazed that a pension fund this early in the introduction of the Bitcoin ETF came on board. They expected it might take several years before there would be institutional involvement with Bitcoin investing. So
Bitcoin ETF is different and apart from the kind of Bitcoins that folks might have in their digital wallets?
Yeah, that's right. It was January of this year that the spot Bitcoin ETF was approved by the SEC. That allowed investors like the university systems or SWIB in this case, the Wisconsin Investment Board, to buy directly these securities that are regulated by the SEC, highly liquid, and traded on exchanges.
Still, was it a surprise to you to see that?
It was, but Wisconsin's Investment Board has always been innovative. This is a fully...
Yeah, so I'll stop there. So the whole point is we actually have pension funds now investing in Bitcoin, and this is no small thing. This is very, very important. You gotta pay attention to what's going on in the world right now. We're gonna run through a bunch more. A new university in Texas is creating a Bitcoin holding in its endowment. I won't read it all to you. I posted it today 2 hours ago. Check it out. But again, we got universities, we got states, we got all kinds of corporations, not just Michael Saylor and Tesla and Square, and just there's shit tons of them holding Bitcoin now. And then all these Japanese companies, just companies all around the world, right? But now you have endowment funds and universities doing it. You got the Indianapolis Colts NFL kicker, Spencer. What the fuck? Who is this guy? Spencer Schrader. I don't know. I used to watch Colts games. I lived in Indiana for a while. Anyway, he's like, hey, I want my whole salary in Bitcoin. Honestly, it seems like a lot of these supposedly like dumb football players and athletes have really good financial advisors, because these guys have been getting paid in Bitcoin for a while. But again, it's just another view. This is the signal, guys. All these little things add up. And again, that Wisconsin fund, that pension fund, has 162 million in Bitcoin. That's no small number, guys. And again, oh yeah, look at this. Vivek posted this. This is showing the performance of Nvidia and Bitcoin versus gold. I'm old. I like that kind of music too. I just want to point out here, when I make fun of gold and like the 22% return over the last 13 years, this is the shit I'm talking about. People like to use volatility as a cuss word. I know a lot of cuss words. You probably understand that by now. Volatility is not a cuss word. Volatility is a beautiful thing when it's pointed in the right direction and you know what you're holding. So NVIDIA was not a bad hold. Bitcoin was not a bad hold. These aren't the only ones. When the money printer goes burr and you've got things that are going to change the world sitting in front of you, you could throw up Tesla and it would look a lot like this too, because despite what bitchy ass people think, Tesla is up 300 and something X in the last 14 years. So when they went public, if you bought that company, you did all right. So let's not forget it. Ungrateful shitheads that don't want to pay Elon Musk. Anyway, Danny Marquez. Love this guy. He's cool. He says BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, IBIT, needed only 137 days to reach a $20 billion asset under management. Fastest in history by far, compared to JEPI, 1,000 days for the same AUM. All he's just pointing out is just how insane this is. And you could see this consolidation pattern before we go higher. Definitely signal, guys. Oh, already did that one. Got to pass that up. Breaking, Australia's first Bitcoin ETF starts trading tomorrow. Might be some signal here. It's so hard to keep up with all the news because there is so much. That's why I like this every couple of days thing, because I feel like I can really give you guys just a whole bunch in your face of actual fucking substance instead of a bunch of noise where I'm just repeating the same bullshit every day. So hopefully you guys feel that same way. If you do, hit the like. Dennis Porter, huge. In 3 weeks, the first U.S. senator in history to directly mine Bitcoin will be heading, again, Ted Cruz, like him or hate him. He does look better with a beard. He looked really douchey without the beard. So I'll give him some credit there. He looks more like a man nowadays. Anyway, I don't know why I just did that. The world's largest Bitcoin mining conference. So you got Ted coming here. Ted has seen the light. I've been on and off with Ted throughout the years. He at least gets the premise of Bitcoin and has turned it into an advocate over the last several years. And that's awesome. He's probably one of the people maybe helping turn Trump around, along with Vivek. And I love that. All right, Marty Party. He said, PayPal prints $40 million in PYUSD stablecoin on Solana. If you guys aren't paying attention, PayPal and Solana, you're going to start to see really low prices for transaction fees for PayPal, but they're going to start taking profit on some of their business-related stuff that's occurring on Venmo instead of not taking any dollars at all. And they're also going to optimize their network where their transfer fees are almost non-existent compared to what they've been doing historically. There's significance here. This is a little PayPal moment. Solana, Bitcoin, whatever. It's just more great stuff coming. All right, Thomas from Apollo, 240,000 Bitcoin purchased this year, all while GBTC is being drained. So you can see GBTC kind of getting sucked down slowly, but look at the pace of growth in these other fucking ETFs. It's not comparable. It's not comparable. The amount of burn from GBTC compared to what we saw in these other ETFs is not comparable. These are not the same fucking thing. Money is flowing in. Look at that. It's beautiful. My boy Willie Woo, he's an old school gangster. Just showing, he said, early signs that Bitcoin Pro institutional traders may be pivoting from selling risk to buying risk. I think I showed this in the last one. I will stop here on the Bitcoin front. But I just want you guys to be clear. There's a whole bunch more than this. What did you say? Buying Bitcoin now is not a venture. It's well established. Let the part. Dude, you know it. You know it. Man, what's up with Clean Sparks price action? Absolute AIDS. I love that. That's funny. Thank you. So daily price action. I don't fucking care, guys. I don't want to say you're annoying, Jingo. I'm not going to say that. Okay, bro, you're a member here. Not annoying. But I do want to say this. Every cycle, I feel like there's assets that move up and down. And every day, like people are like, oh, why is this not doing so good? What's happening? There's always different narratives that flow around in different sectors that will prop up different assets at different times. And so CleanSpark can be AIDS for weeks, maybe a month, right? Could be. Mara was AIDS for a long time, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't doing great. And right now, Iron is like the bee's knees, from what I've heard. There will be new narratives that will come, and all of them will rise over time because they save up all the fucking news for when they're ready to go. And once they release an article and like the technicals flip and start to oscillate, then the price starts to go up. And price drives news. It drives news. Unless there's a bigger theme because somebody behind the scenes is pulling the strings. But that's usually not the case. It's almost always just oscillation and price. And then the news comes because you post articles when people are fucking paying attention, and they pay attention when the price is going up. They pay attention when the price is falling. And so you put whatever news is accommodative of the price action. And if you can learn that, if nothing else from investing, you will have a much better life, because when the price is going down, the news sucks. And if you can't handle that shit, you're fucked. And when the price is going up and you're FOMOing into it, you're going to get fucked there too. Because again, you want to be inverse a lot of this stuff when you're trying to do any kind of timing whatsoever. So I think you were talking about CleanSpark. I'm sorry. Be careful with Shema. Oh yeah. We'll talk about Shema this thing. But yeah, so CleanSpark, up and down. All this shit will happen. It will all balance out. There will be great news about CleanSpark once Iron has its chance, and maybe Cypher or Mara, whoever. Mara is going to have their yearly, like, annual shareholder meeting. Maybe that's the bee's knees for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know, man. It'll all find its chance. It'll all rise. The tide does rise all boats in the Bitcoin sector. I can tell you, for this being my third cycle, that's exactly what happens, and you'll make tons of fucking money from it. But don't chase shit. Because if you chase shit, you're falling into a psychological game that is meant to fuck you by the nature of its construct. And I'm not saying there's any, malevolent character behind the scenes. It's just how it works, man. You need to just, again, realize these things. Realize these things. Don't waste your energy on bullshit. That's why we're only going to do this a couple of times a week, because we're going to focus on what actually fucking matters. All right. What was it? It's going off in some rest. Hey, on that, let's go into miners, huh? We'll do this, and then we got to get to Tesla, because I gotta talk about Tesla stuff. All right, so first off, MicroStrategy. Why is MicroStrategy up today? I don't fucking know. It's up 7%. Nothing probably fucking happened. Shorts probably got squeezed. Made 7% off of that. I don't care why, but this is a good example of how shit just rolls around in different directions. Let's look at Mara. It was only up 0.31%. Why? No fucking idea. Who cares? It's above the 200 though. That's good. We would like to see more of that. CleanSpark. Kind of looking like shit. Or a bounce zone. Well, I don't know. Like to see it get above like 17. That would be nice. I don't see any reason for it to go much lower. And honestly, you know what's happening right now? If we really draw this, like, because of the weekly time frame and all the price action we're looking at, this is really what's happening now. So we've got what appears to be a falling wedge, and this is going to break out bullish. And it could turn into a falling broadening wedge by maybe going down here and trying to close this gap. But I don't see it happening, because I don't see Bitcoin going lower. I just don't see what drives it there. There's no reason to. Yeah, price going down. Albert said price going down in an asset, on a good asset, is a buy. Yes, that's exactly the fucking way to look at it. Is it Tesla? Is it? Have you ridden in full self-driving? Have you seen? My Cybertruck is like, I've got over 2,000 miles, 2,100 miles or 2,200 miles on it now, and everywhere I go, I have to talk to people about it because they have questions. Don't get me wrong. Been cold rolled a couple times. Almost gotten 2 or 3 fights. I'm older now though, so I can usually calm it down. If nothing else, I can just outrun these motherfuckers. But there's so much in the way of attention in this thing, and it's all good. It's all good for Tesla. And I'm gonna segue real quick. Tesla, Google Trends. You guys ever use Google Trends, man? If you don't, you need to. I'm just gonna. Oh, not that. Don't want to go there. Trends data. I guess we got to go this way, the archaic way, and then put my stuff in. What? All right, whatever. They're making me go up here. So I'm just going to put in I'm going to put in Cybertruck. We'll start there. And then I need to bookmark these again anyway. Model 3. We know these names are specific to Tesla, right? Model S, Model X. All right, so let's just take a look here. Let's see the Cybertruck. Look at this; it's actually starting to go down. I can't believe that. I'm gonna have to let me dial out. I want to see. Let's go 90 days. Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is weird data. I might have to do a deeper dive here. This is pretty weird. I don't know if I trust what I'm seeing right now in Google Trends. Normally, great site. Normally, let's go back 5 years. Yeah, there's something weird. I don't like the fact that some of that data. So anyway, Cybertruck actually starting to get a pulse of this last year, picking up again above trend. Even if I go back here to 12 months, even though that data looks sketchy, if we look at the 90-day time frame, you can see that we're above trend on the Cybertruck. And I don't know, what does it say? Model 3 is down, probably because of the fact that we're getting ready to ship to Highland. I don't know. I don't trust this data. I'm going to come back to it. It's making the exact opposite argument of what I wanted to say. So fuck it. But I will come back to it again later and show it to you. I just think it's messed up. Because if you look right here, what is this? I don't even know. This is nuts. This doesn't even make any fucking sense. How do you have 75% or 83% interest on a Cybertruck for this one time? This data is either like aggregate, like there's something that's manipulated on it. And so we'll come back to it. Table that. Almost got into 2 or 3 fights. Do you have one too? Or are you talking about my comment? Mark, Philip, no offense taken, but I don't even know what trolling really is. Why do you ask? Albert, I don't know, all of them need help team. If you had 20K to invest, would you buy Bitcoin or CLSK or Tesla? I have all but Bitcoin and all but Bitcoin. Oh, you gotta own Bitcoin, dude. Needs 55. You gotta own Bitcoin. EVs do have hellish good torque. Dude, my truck is a fucking rocket ship and it beats everything. And the Model 3 performance will literally be quicker than a Porsche at a third of the fucking cost. They're not comparable. Actually, I'm going to use this as a segue. I want to talk about Tesla. Let me go back. Were we in it? No, we were still in. No, we finished that. Back over to Tesla. I'm losing track. Give me a second. All right, Tesla. All right, segue. So ignore my other rant where it looks like people Googling it is going down for Tesla. Ignore that one for now until I figure out what's going on. So I wanted to point this out. This is an advertisement in China talking about how Tesla solves 99% of their recall issues with an over-the-air update. People talk about recalls from Tesla all the fucking time. I literally had a lady at a car wash go, oh, but did they fix the brake pedal? That's the one non-over-the-air update on a car that they've just started producing that they never actually had any real-world issues on, and they found out early enough and then fixed them all and literally stopped the production line for it. But 99% of them are fixed over the air. That's a big deal. Also, here's some Cybertrucks driving down the road. Oh, I can't wait to wrap mine in the next 2 weeks. This is awesome. It says, Holmar's put this out. I kept pushing the call robotaxi button like 100 times, but I'm not sure it worked 5 minutes later. This is a joke, but I think in the future it might hold some truth to it. And anyway, this is just a fucking sight to be seen. These things are like nothing else out there. All right. My buddy, Steve Urkel, dude, he might be white. So this is deceptive advertising, but I'm not sure. And if you are black, I apologize. But I love this guy. He's fucking great. He's brilliant. He says, Tesla's getting close. This thing wants to have a good time. And he's just showing a trend line here that goes back to 2024, where we've hit it numerous times and we want to break out. And it looks beautiful from a technical perspective. And I agree with him. So that's why I'm posting it. All right. This is one that Elon Musk retweeted, which I thought was great, and I'd mentioned it briefly a second ago. It says, Tesla went public at $1.5 billion valuation 14 years ago. So when this guy
with the DOE loan and with
was telling us this,
investment.
This is the Model S, by the way.
This is the Model S, right.
When he was showing you the Model S and telling you how amazing it was, and your friends were buying this car, and they could have actually showed you how fucking great it was, and then you looked at the stock price, you could have realized it was undervalued. I wish I would have had friends smart enough to fucking show me this thing. I didn't have any rich friends driving Tesla Model S's. I wish I would have talked to somebody who did, because if I would have found out about this company, I would have bought it much sooner than I did. But here's him literally on their IPO day talking about the Tesla Model S, talk to Jim Cramer and all this stuff. This company is up over 300 fucking X from that day. These are the gems that you look for. These are the people you look for. When you find an Elon Musk, you grab on and you hold on for dear fucking life. And if you get opportunities to buy, you don't buy fucking GameStop. Or if you did buy GameStop, you sell that stupid shit and you buy this. All right, Holmar's catalog. Again, always great stuff. 2 billion miles will come quickly with FSD 12.4. I agree. I actually think this is going to sound crazy, but I think we might actually already be nearing 2 billion miles from what I've seen from FSD use. And then the fact that China's going to be coming on board real quick soon, too. We are going to start. This is parabolic, guys. Again, I just want to point out that well into the pandemic, this is where we were. This is where we were in FSD miles with the pandemic already happening. And now we're looking at this. Can I read a screenshot of Jesse dialogue from X if you like? What are we talking about? What did I do? True enough. Is it good? It's got to be good. Anything I might miss about ETFs? Anything against holding TSL? TSLL is okay. It's like an option play, right? You're going to have diminishing returns if it ends up just sitting sideways for a long period of time because it operates off a multiplier, a lot like an option. Anyway, white, black, no matter. Don't buy into culture Marxist rhetoric. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Why are we talking about that? Anyway, Philip Boats, Mark Bentley, like it's so obvious that it screams scam that I'm not sure if you're serious with what you're saying. If I were you, I would not give any info or anything. You will get wrecked. Jesse would never do something like that. What am I doing? Mark, what are you talking about? I don't do anything with other people's money. Ever. So if you're getting some weird communication online on X, and I'm not going to go back in this. Yeah, I would never do that. So definitely do not give me fucking money online because it's not me. Just to be clear, I don't know if what we're talking about, but anyway. So yeah, FSD miles are going to increase exponentially. If you guys haven't seen 12.36 yet from Holmar's catalog, you should watch it on YouTube. Watch it at 1.25. Watch it at 1.5. You're going to learn a fucking shit ton. That is half an Elon ago. Yeah, almost. He was so skinny. Yeah, he was. But he's getting his fighting weight on, right, for Zuckerberg? I don't know. Probably not going to happen. I don't think Elon's mother will allow it, and that's probably smart. Mario Nawfal. And if you guys let me know if there's anything else I need to be following with that conversation. Elon Tesla deal would force me to hold for another 5 years. So Elon was just saying, hey guys, if you compensate me for the money I was fucking promised and that I delivered on, the 300 plus X of returns over the last 14 years with goals that people laughed at routinely and thought were idiotic and would never happen. And then he accomplished all of them and blew those away. And then some fucking judge and some woke ass Delaware state that people normally incorporate into decides that that's all bullshit because some guy had 7 fucking shares of the company and didn't feel like it was fair. And we're going to take the opportunity to not pay this fucking man right now, even though he can't even cash this shit out for 5 years, at least. Give him interest to pursue greater things for this company. If you're not doing that, you're a fucking greedy asshole. Go buy some GME. I want you to lose your fucking money. Anyway, so yeah, that. Peggy, Tesla plans to build out about 10 mega pack factories by 2030. Let's say they manage to build only 6 due to delay and other reasons. I mean, Elon is a little optimistic with timelines, so let's do that. Once fully ramped, each factory can produce around $15 billion in revenue annually. So $90 billion in revenue a year with a gross profit of roughly 20%. That's $18 billion in profit per year. Just the energy. Oh, some people suck at math. No, they didn't deny his package. The vote isn't done yet. There are groups that are openly defying it, and they are assholes. And they're fucking idiots. And some of them are like liberal pension funds in the West Coast, but others that are assholes too. I'm sure if Biden had anything invested for the government, he would make sure that they shit on that. All right, let me see what else I got here. Breaking, Tesla has deployed 2 bots into one of their factories. It's placing battery cells into trays. So, oh, this is old. It's fucking old shit. I lost all my, I think my bookmarks are gone. That's the end of that. There's a whole bunch more. But every once in a while this thing resorts on me and I lose them all. I just want to say that focus on energy with Tesla. Focus on the fact that FSD is coming hot. And if you guys haven't seen the new versions of FSD and what they're running at, watch Omar's catalog. Watch Omar talking about what's happening right now with FSD. It's amazing. And we're gonna have taxi cabs driving around in major U.S. cities over the next couple of years, just increasing FSD miles exponentially. I think I'm gonna make $10 million on my options with Tesla. I really do. I think 4 is easy, stupid easy, and that's a good return on my investment since I only have about 600,000 or 550,000 in calls right now. Anyway, so FSD is huge. Energy is huge. We've got robots coming in a massive way because all of this stuff ties into the same stacks and has a similar principle behind it. And then you have all these convergences of amazing technologies and EV development and solar energy cost reductions of 85% almost in the last couple of years. And it's just like, I should say decade. There's so many things converging right now, and then you have the potential for things like lithium and stuff continuing to drop in price as traditional auto manufacturers run away with it. And I believe what will happen from the 500 plus companies that are EV companies in China right now is that we're gonna see 95% of them fucking melt down, and all those contracts go away for their lithium and cobalt and all this other stuff. Not that Tesla's gonna be using cobalt in the future, but all these resources are going to be plentiful because we built out infrastructure for it. China built it out. Central America, South America, other parts of the world have all built out infrastructure to try and produce lithium and all the other resources for all these different EV companies. And they're not fucking needed because these guys are all backtracking and going to hybrids, which means that you're going to have Tesla being able to build these factories en masse. And they've got so much demand for these things all across the world. There's so much money coming to Tesla. There's so much money coming into Bitcoin. And then there's all these other things that you can invest in too. Let's look at some of these others, okay? So let's look real quickly. I do want to look at Tesla. I want to look at the chart on Tesla. I just want to talk to this about the fact that I really strongly believe that as we see, higher lows, that we're going to see a break up on Tesla. We've done a good job consolidating. I'm just going to zoom out maybe to the weekly here. It's probably a better look. We did a great job consolidating in this range, and the fundamentals. I talked to you guys about the macro and the micro, right? And we start off with the macro because that's the biggest thing. Global liquidity is the biggest fucking driver, right? That's the thing that matters the most. First and foremost. Then the company matters, or the investment type, right? The stuff Tesla is doing right now is incredibly important to their future, and their margins are going to start increasing. They're going to start increasing because the dollar is losing value. They're going to start increasing because they're able to sell FSD in China. They're going to start increasing because they're getting exponentially better, and Elon already told us they're going to be 5 to 10x better by the time we get to like 12.4, which is fucking insane. And we've got a robot coming, we got energy coming, we got cheap prices on all the materials for the energy, and we've got an abundance of demand in all of it. And this chart tells me we're probably fucking bottoming. So, I don't know. Pay attention to that if you want to. In my opinion, it's invaluable. So, I like this chart. I like the setup for it. I still think this company breaks 400 in less than 2 years. And I have more than 2 years for that to play out. For it to just get past 330 for me to start making money, right? Like 340, 350, depending upon timing of events. It could be a lot earlier than that, and I'll have intrinsic and extrinsic value in my options play. But even just owning the stock in this company is going to be a good investment in the future. I would just own more Bitcoin right now than it. But let's look at other stuff. Let's pull up PayPal. PayPal. Oh, but boy, does this thing look like it's consolidating. We're perfectly above the volume, the peak volume for the history of this company right now. We had a 0.75% day. Again, it needs to do more. I want to see it really break above this, right? This downward trend line that's really kind of been a trend line that started since May of 2023, over a year ago, right? So we want to see a 13, 14 month trend line break. And if it does that, beautiful things are coming. Look at how far up I am on this. I got to save this chart. So you can see how much that grinded down from had this run, after the last earnings report, and then it just shit the bed. But I do think the time's coming. January 2025 is probably fucked. Maybe. I still think they're coming around, but, I'm also down 89% on some of those. So, not a great play. Anyway, looking over here at Hood, it looks great. We're seeing a bounce on Hood, I think. This still looks wonderful. I still expect 30 soon. Not much more to say about that. Now, the PE ratio is high. There's a few that are like that ran really hard and they're high. They're expensive. Palantir's another one. SoFi, not expensive. Still getting its ass handed to it. This is probably my least favorite options play right now. I just feel like Hood's stealing so much steam from SoFi. SoFi is down 76%. So this could be another one of my losers. I've not bought any 2026s because I don't know if I like the banking sector in 2026. So all I own is 2025. Maybe I lose it all on this one. It might not get to the price it needs to get to. I think I'm in like the $15 strike. So we'd have to go up 110, 120% over the next short period of time. That's we could get a bounce. We could see something like that, but I don't know how likely it is. Square has been beaten up since the earnings call. It's actually kind of interesting how badly this thing has been beaten up. Could be finding a bottom. We have peak volumes right underneath of us, right? But this thing, boy, did it get slammed. What were we at? So way back over here in March, this thing was $88. So glad I don't have options on this one. Almost want to buy them right now. I don't know, though. I'd have to at least be like mid-2025 for that to even be interesting. Might take a look at it. I don't know. I might just keep things simple. I've got like $1.5 million in crypto and Bitcoin-related stuff, at least. That seems like enough anyway, so maybe I don't need more exposure right now. Palantir. All right, so the hints of S&P inclusion and rebalancing coming up here in a few days did not do a lot to help the price of Palantir. Down 1.66 on the day and 0.28% in after hours. Kind of hugging this fib here, but maybe we'll hug it and we'll bounce higher. It could happen. ARKG, how's ARK been doing? I just want to look at a couple of these charts. If you guys want to bail and don't care about charts, I don't fucking blame you. I've said a lot of what I'm going to say as far as good info. I'm just going to jump through a few charts here real quick for the rest of it. And thank you to the 346 that are still here. I can't believe there's actually that many people still watching. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. If you could hit the like, again, it just helps me out. So I really appreciate it. I'm not doing this as much anymore, but I will do it more and better quality the more support I get. It's kind of how life works. At least in regard to this, because I'm fucking retired. So I'm not doing this to make money off of you, to be very clear. 1,246 days since we saw the first high on ARKG. That seems like a long time. What is that? That's a long time. Long time. We're above this really long downward trend line that we need to turn into support. This is the monthly time frame, which is crazy. But again, I like the higher since going back to October of 2023. We're seeing, no, even further. Look at this. So that we're getting higher lows, right? Going back to January of 2022. That was the deepest low, right? Then this still looks good. This is actually sitting pretty good over here. So we got one that's higher. We got another one that's still holding on. This is higher. This is higher. This could be higher. We literally have been trending sideways in this bitch for almost 2.5 years. We've been seeing the RSI and the weekly time frame diverging higher. I think that's promising. You're not retired. You're just in a new economic state. Yeah, that's probably true. I'm not retired from driving my Cybertruck because I've only had that like less than 2 weeks or something, or about 2 weeks, and I've got 2,100 miles on it. It's probably excessive. Probably should slow down, but I have so much fun driving it, so I can't. It's a good problem to have. All right. I missed a bunch of shit. Sorry about that. No need to send a screenshot. I'm correct. Just check. Oh, that was the one thing. Would you own SoFi stock instead of calls? Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, yes, Albert. Looking back at PayPal 2025, looking at ArcG 2025, looking at SoFi 2025. If I had it to do over again, I would probably seriously be buying 2026 calls right now. But, you know, when your timing's off by a year, you kind of fucked it up. So, but yes, that's probably the prudent approach right now. Can your Cybertruck take a Porsche 911 off the line? I don't know. Probably a decent. It depends. Lower end Porsche, yes. I've only got I don't have the Cyber Beast though, so I'm only doing a 0 to 60 in 3.9. So yes, there are Porsches that are probably 911s that would be similar in comparison. Because the 0 to 60, I'd probably beat them. Not the 0 to 100. They'd probably take over. But if I had the Cyber Beast, it could do 2.6 seconds. You'd bury a Porsche. I mean, you'd bury a Porsche towing a Porsche. That's why they made the video. All right. Anyway, let's see what's Flux. Anybody Flux doing anything? And to be clear, this one, I haven't talked about it much, guys. I will talk about it more. I'll try and do the deep dive into Flux and DLO and figure out what the fuck is going on with them. But you got to remember something. When I had these, like, look at this. DLO, 2%. Flux, 2%. They're probably like 1% now. These are very small amounts of my portfolio, and so they're not things I focus a lot of attention on, okay? I just want to be clear. So if you put a shit ton of money into this, it's not really my problem. And I indicated very early on that this was a very tiny amount. So I will look at it. I do think we're seeing like almost a triple bottom here on this time frame, which is very interesting because we kind of saw a double bottom over here. So if we're seeing a triple bottom, I do think Flux can go higher. And these guys, again, they're kind of in the EV game, but for manufacturing type stuff, forklifts, shit like that. So that's kind of interesting. Let me pull up, I'm going to pull up DLO here too while I'm here. This thing's just been fucked. Just fucked. Brutalized. I don't know. If I make a bunch of money off of crypto, is this a triple bottom? I mean, it could be. Look at this. Volumes are lowering. I actually think this is promising. Now, don't get me wrong. I haven't looked at the quarter. I think I'm going to have more time tomorrow. So I want to look at DLO because this is where I have 2026 and I don't have all this pulled up. Maybe I will show DLO in my account. Let me just 1 second. Let me see if I'll pull this up somewhere. I want to pull this up in my account real quick. Again, I don't want to show off my account to people. I'm going to be advertising this shit locally. So I don't want a bunch of assholes being like, hey, that guy's a multimillionaire. Let's go beat the shit out of him and take all of his money. So I don't want to focus on what I hold in the beginning of these videos. I'd rather focus on things that are a lot smaller. So DLO, it says I have January 16th, 2026 calls with a 35 strike. Now, that's a pretty high strike compared to where we're at right now, but I still think we could fill this gap over here. I mean, we have a huge daily gap going all the way up to 44, which is kind of where resistance should hit in, right? Around the 40s. And so this thing is, this is giving me a year and a half at least, heavy year and a half for this thing to hit $35, which I think is totally doable. And if it did that in like 6 months, 9 months, and was able to pull off, a big bounce in that time frame because markets are broadening out, this could be interesting. I might even look at maybe some June 2026s on this one. Now, I'll probably stick with January 2026. I think, but again, these are probably cheap as fuck. I haven't looked at them. I'll look them up. And if I'm buying any of this stuff, I'll let you guys know. But maybe I bring this back up to 2% of my portfolio and double my holdings on it. Right now, it says I have 16,000, but I put 56 in. So again, about that 2% mark in the portfolio. And now it's much smaller. It's like less than 1%. So maybe I get it back up to 2. I don't know. I'll watch the video. I'll let you know. See, let's ask myself the same. Hey, all, not the heart. Hey, once, hit the like button on the video, the thumbs up. Every time he says to hit the like button, I see like 20 hearts fly off. Yeah, hit the like. Yeah, pay attention to that. That's good advice. Jesse, you were a hard drive. You metamorphosed to an SSD. Thank you. That's very sweet. I'm a tech nerd, so that means a lot to me, bro. Needs 55, but DLO could be a good future call option. Yeah, maybe. Again, I'll check the options on this and see if the contract is interesting. And if I'm buying it, I'll let you know This one is better than the Flux one, where I felt bad for that one. I told people right away in the video that I moved the price accidentally myself with just my orders. If you're buying that one, you should be doing it very slowly because you don't want to push the price on it. So make sure you're doing incremental shit. On the AI narrative, time to short Adobe 2026. I don't know, man. I haven't looked at any of that stuff. You'd have to tell me. Sarthik in Texas, want to see my first Cybertruck. Yeah, there should be some there, right? Yeah, you should see some. They're all shipping from there. TSLA miners, forgotten neighborhood advertising won't end well. I don't know. John Nigerian, do you still have a lot of confidence in miners like CLSK and Marat? I've got tons. Seem to be lagging BT. Yep, they are. You're right. That's exactly what's happening. MicroStrategy, I've said this for a while, but MicroStrategy appears to be running first. It's up like 7% today. Miners didn't do that well unless you were like Iron. Iron probably, everybody seems to love Iron. That AI narrative is running good. And maybe it ends up being true and I was wrong about it. Possible. I've been wrong like one other time in my life, so that's possible. Iron is up 2% today, 2.7, and then 0.75 after hours. But still, MicroStrategy, fucking tearing it a new asshole, up about 3x more than that. So, Canva eating Adobe long. Yeah, I could see that. I actually like Canva a lot. And I don't even use it that much for my YouTube channel. But if I was going to use something, I'd use that over Adobe. I think there's so many other tools right now that are, especially AI-based stuff, where Adobe is almost not even needed except for the real pros. So that's a good point. That's a really good point. MB, that's why I mentioned this. Yep. Cool. C-List, the tradition to SSD comes with increased life expectancy. I mean, it could be decreased if you do a bunch of writes. So you can only bring in so much information at once. But reads, that SSD is kicking ass on reads. So you got to love that part. I still remember some tech shit. All right. What was I doing? I feel like I'm lost. Kind of like in a weird pseudo state where I'm kind of looking up what people are saying and not all at the same time. But let me see here. If there's anything else you guys wanted to look at that I'll pull up. Potential short when you start seeing the Ukraine war. RHM, interesting. Hey, Jesse, thoughts on 100% portfolio and CLSK Morrow MicroStrategy? I don't love that for any... I mean, don't get me wrong. That could be a really great strategy in the coming months. But you're never 100% assured of anything over a shorter period of time. And so I don't like being 100% in on anything, Rishab. I don't. Not when you have Tesla at such a great value. Palantir is arguably at a good value. Or at least in a time, if a war breaks out, will probably benefit greatly. There's just a bunch of really decent companies. And again, just throw in some Tesla. Just diversify somewhat, at least, in your investments so that it's not just all Bitcoin. And Tesla's going to be the biggest company in the world, I think. So that's my preference. But I know a lot of people that are hardcore Bitcoiners. And don't get me wrong, one of the best, I mean, the best asymmetric bet probably out there right now is Bitcoin as far as risk to reward, because there's virtually no risk and there's just massive reward. So, and then you have some shit coins that could give you a better multiplier, but it's such a great investment. But Tesla is another great one, and I think people are sleeping on it, and I think there's an opportunity to, 10x your money on that too in the next couple of years. Especially with options. I can 20, maybe 30x. Yeah. So anyway, and I'm not even talking about 10. I'm talking about like 5x for the base price the next 2.5 years, I think, for Tesla, which is not a bad return. All right. What else we got? What was I doing? Yeah. And you say it in here. Plan to change Tesla Palantir after 6 to 12 months. I would maybe start nibbling on that soon, or just diversify a little bit. Especially if we get some good runs in Bitcoin and these others don't go, just nibble off and buy, start. Don't wait for this perfect price. Start. That's my advice. Whole is Nick Young. Hey, Jesse, can you please take a look at sound? Yeah. So this is the AI. To be clear, this is the AI play. And I just want to pull up visual stocks because I don't know why, but I don't seem to have that over here. Yep. Okay. All right. So we're going to pull this up and look at it, and then I'm going to pull up sound. I want to look at the financials on this because I don't remember what they look like. And again, this is an AI play, but NVIDIA is the real AI play. These guys don't make money worth of shit. This is actually fucking horrible. Look at this last quarter. They lost $33 million, and they only brought in 12. Not even 12. Not even 12 million. That's just fucking shit. So what do I think about this company? I think it's fucking trash. I think they're diluting shareholders. If you can't make money, you're not... Yeah, again, it's just you're not an investment that's worth doing. And when your revenue consistently grows, but you haven't still figured out a way to actually make money, I just can't justify that. I can't justify losing 3 times as much as you make in revenue in a quarter. So I'm going to say a big fuck no on this one. And I'm not even going to look up the chart because it's fucking trash. This tells me that. All right. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that one. Wojciech. Hey, Jesse, could you look at Path? All right, let's look at Path. UiPath. I think this one was doing good the other day. Wasn't it? I don't remember. Let's take a look. So the fundamentals in this one, going up fairly consistently. If we look at income, I mean, that doesn't look bad. Let's look at what's... Yeah, so that's interesting. Let's look at what their estimates are. So we're going to start going positive in EPS. We're continuing to see revenue growth. EBIT's not going anywhere, but that's not bad. And then let's look at the extended here. So no major selling happening recently. They sold off a little bit. Some insiders were selling in 2023, but that was the last time. So I don't know. The estimates aren't horrible on this. What's the valuation, though? 33 for the forward PE. That's still a little high, but maybe it's getting better. Maybe growth continues for this company. I don't know this company well, so I can't tell you if this is a good deal. Short interest is low. They got a lot of cash. They have bonds too. Almost 800 million in bonds, making a pretty penny off of that, I bet. Probably going to help them with their net income. I don't know though. This one doesn't interest me too much. And let's look. This one I'll at least pull up from a technical level, just to see how interesting it is. All right, how are we doing at time? 4:13. Not bad. Okay, so an hour and 20 minutes. That's not too crazy. I don't want to waste a bunch of time here. But, yeah, this sucks. I mean, this sucks. We're under all peak volumes. It could be rounding. This is such a huge wick. If a company was ever going to be bottoming, this could be it. I mean, this thing, I don't know what I said before, but this was a bear flag. I must have told you this was a bear flag because this was such a bear flag. This was begging to fail. And then, boy, did it. It blew past its measured move. I probably would have said that 13 was maybe a bottom, but we blew past that into the 1136 range. Now, this is the highest volume we've ever seen. If this is a real company, this is a good bottom. Maybe you can tell me if this is a real company. I do not know the answer to that. Let me read your comments here real quick, though. Why were the miners down today? Somewhere. It happens. Shit happens. Sealess. Tesla has more political risk than Bitcoin, even though Tesla ought to be supported by the U.S. government more. Yeah, I would agree. Stupid, right? But that's just with the existing regime. I think the narrative is changing very quickly about who's going to be controlling the government in the future. Sarthak, the CEO resigned and founder came back for Path. Yeah. Well, like I said, there's always a narrative for the price action. This was going to break down no matter what. It definitely overshot that. So that bad news might have been it. But CEOs resigning and founders coming back. I don't know. Why did the founder fucking leave? This company's never made a profit. Why has it always been shit? You know what I mean? Why have they always lost money? They've been doing this for a while now. Now, don't get me wrong. 2024, I mean, you can't really say it's this good, though, right? Because we're not done with the year. In the way it's going, it looks like it could actually be worse, and maybe we're down here for net income. So if you just haven't done anything in years and years and years and years, when are you going to? Especially when you got shit like replacing CEOs. That's fucking scary. So I just would stay away from this trash personally. I wouldn't be invested in this. If all of a sudden you start to hear fundamental or fundamental reasons why this company is good, you do have potentially a technical bottom. Okay? Because this is crazy fucking oversold. Think about being a pleb. It's February 2024. 4 months ago. You got excited about UiPath because everybody told you it was the next cool fucking thing. And it was doing all right. It was above peak volumes, right? So you're like, I should buy this shit at like $26. So you did that. Today it's $11.88. you're probably not super happy that you lost 55, almost 60% of your money in 4 months. So there's some pain here, I feel like, before we get a dramatic rebound. So maybe there's time for, if you are interested in this, to let it play out and see what happens. That's my 2 cents, okay? ETN, please, from C-List. Eaton is a serious company in the electrification space. Okay. Well, if you say it's serious, I'm happy to hear that. Let me see what it is, though. Eaton. Okay. This is new. I don't think I've ever looked at this. Now, I don't love the flat revenue. I like the net income starting to go up. Is operating expenses are flat. I mean, I don't love that their debt load is higher than their assets. What are the estimates on this? Growth. Ooh, nice positive EPS. Revenues ticking up. What's the dilution on this one? No real dilution. So they're trying to be a real company, and their profits 28% year over year. Revenue only 8. Forward PE is 31, so it's a little rich. So this is interesting, but I don't see anything crazy good that should demand a much higher PE ratio than what they have. Based out of Dublin, I don't know what Ireland's like for innovation in the EV space, but yeah, if you know really great things about this company, there's not a lot of insider stock. I'm actually little bummed by that. I would like to see more insider ownership. Honestly, it's so tiny. It's so tiny. 0.2%. 0.2%. Otherwise, it's institutions and retail. I don't know a lot about Irish-related companies and how all that pans out, but PE is fairly valued to me. Let me see if you said anything over here. Can you have a look at, if you have time, can you look at MDB? Can we look at SQ? Why is Clean Spark, man? People were asking about miners. Watch earlier in the video. I literally talk about how everything's an ebb and flow, and this is completely fucking normal. And I can't tell you from one day to the next why MicroStrategy is up 7.5% on the day, and most miners are taking a shit. I can't tell you that. It's just an ebb and flow. And we know what Bitcoin's doing, and that's what matters. So go back in the video, check it out. I think there's some value there. C-List, the French government is a constant champion for their big companies. It works for sure. Not saying that the U.S. should be that blatant. I don't think the U.S. should be sponsoring any fucking companies. I think they should listen to Elon Musk. They shouldn't exclude him. And I think what they should actually fucking be doing is not subsidizing oil, not subsidizing EVs, not subsidizing fucking anything right now. I don't know. Again, we're in this weird world where part of me says we need some of this to outcompete China, because there are areas in defense, there are areas in space, there are areas in innovation. And I do believe, again, electrification and EVs and renewable energy, along with all forms of energy, are areas that we need to compete in. But it's also kind of bullshit that the government just throws money inefficiently at all these problems. I wish there was more private sector involvement. So there's parts of me that are like happy that these things are happening, and there's parts of me that don't want it at all. Listen to Elon Musk, stop subsidizing shit, let the markets figure the fucking shit out, and let them benefit. Don't hold them back. Give incentives. Just give incentives for people to expand energy and innovation. There you go, government. That's all you're supposed to fucking do. You're not supposed to pick them. Don't tell us hydrogen's the future. Just fucking be useful and get smaller. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry. Moving on. Domingo, thank you for coming in as a starter pack. Whether you're new or old, I appreciate you. Justin Robinson, hey Jesse, can you take a look at Shop today if you get a chance? Thanks. Yeah, let me take a look. So Shop is a fucking great company. I just want to show you. I'm not invested in this one. Might be something I diversify into in the future. I'm not sure. I've got to think about it in an economic downturn, because we still could have one. Estimates for revenue are good. EPS is okay. Not a lot of selling lately. More selling than buying over the last few years. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about the yawn. Need more coffee. Did not have enough. But if you just look here, this ratio is so beautiful. Look at the revenue per employee. Just the growth. 2016, it was like less than 100K. Now it's like 10x that. There's other cool metrics too, like gross merchandise volumes going up, overall revenues. Share dilution has slowed down a lot. Cash is in a strong position. They got $3.5 billion in bonds alone, which looks good. Their operating expenses have tabled off and are actually pretty moderate. Net income kind of wavers, but again, they're not doing bad. 718 million, 657 million, negative 273. So they look like they're trending in the right direction. We'll see if that holds over into the next quarter. But monthly recurring revenues going up, gross payment, a bunch of other charts in here. It's a good company. I don't know. It's a good company, and I think they're going to do good things in the future. And I like the fact that this company helps smaller businesses be competitive. A lot of shit that happens on Amazon that's just fucking small business and helping countries like China to steal from our markets as far as manufacturing and production go. And I don't like that. And I think we should make that better. Oh, I hear a baby crying. We got a bunch of my daughter had 4 cousins over this weekend, so we are tired. And one of them's a baby. So that's a lot. What was I looking at? What was I going to do? Oh, yeah, shop. So I'm hearing a little baby cry. Only a year old, just a little over. So shop's getting a little bit of a bounce. And what was the PE on this one, too? What are we sitting at? 56. I mean, it's still... I think the growth is going to be good, but that's still pretty rich. So even though we've had this massive drop, I got to say, it was a great deal at 23. 59, it might still be a little rich for a while. Otherwise, again, it's a good company. Maybe the valuation's still a little high. Definitely something I wouldn't buy right now. If it trended sideways for a long period of time while my other favorite things are going up, I would start maybe adding a position into it in a very small increments. And invest. What is his name? Tanner. Jesus, what is your channel? Future Invest. He loves Shopify. He talks about it all the time. He can speak to it a lot more than I can. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Albert, hey Jesse, have you seen Invest Answer's new video? Oh, I responded to this on Bitcoin miners. I have not. I'll watch it. I need to get caught up with a bunch of stuff. My nephew passed his first GED test in language arts that he had just taken for the first time. So he's 25% of the way through. I think we're going to try social studies later in this week, so he might be halfway through his GED testing. No small accomplishment when you haven't even graduated from 8th grade. So I'm very proud of him. He's doing good stuff. He's in counseling for 2 other things too. He's just doing a really good job turning into a man, and I'm super proud of him. So anyway, that's been my focus. It's getting better, and again, so I can start focusing more on this stuff and providing value. I'm sorry I haven't been around as much, but my family and friends come before everything else, and my own personal sanity does as well. So let me see what else we got here. Albert, it's called Top Performing Bitcoin Miners. It's analysis on pretty much all U.S. miners. Yeah. So check out Invest Answers too on it. I'll probably do a summary of my thoughts on it as well. Disease Kodak, hit the like. Yep. Justin BB, possible asymmetric opportunity. I don't know what BB is, but let me take a look here real quick. I don't think I have that one, so I'm going to make a copy. Is it the Better Business Bureau? No, that's BBB. Let me see here. BB. Black. Are you fucking with me? Are you talking about BlackBerry, bro? Are you trolling me right now, Justin? Do not fuck with me, bro. What does BlackBerry even do? Are you kidding? Is this a joke? All right, you tell me why we care about BlackBerry. You got to tell me, okay? Because BlackBerry just looks like doom. And if you're not joking, please to God, don't fucking buy it. Because here's what BlackBerry has done since 2008, the great financial crisis. It went from $140 something a share down to $248. So I do not buy this. Do these guys even make money? All right, you know what? Before I shit talk it too much, I haven't looked at this company in like 2 decades or something. So a decade maybe. So let's actually look it up. Let's see what this piece of shit has actually been doing. Maybe I will be pleasantly surprised, in which case I will have to eat soap. Flash crash today. Yeah. What are we talking about? Warren Buffett. All right, BlackBerry. I don't fucking care about this company. There's nothing happening here. Yeah, so BlackBerry is fucking trash. Too pathetic to short, too pathetic to buy. So don't do either. Anyway, moving on. And if you were trolling me, damn you for taking away 3 minutes of my life. All right, MB. Hey, Jesse. Glad to see you back. Can you explain to us noobs that S&P closed on Friday from a technical point of view? Also today, I kind of briefly looked at the S&P and NASDAQ and Russell. So I just think it's fucking beautiful. I think it's beautiful that we have indices turn around like that. Let me see here. We're like over here maybe. I think it's beautiful when you see an indice bounce as hard as we've seen this bounce over the last 2 days. This is nothing but net to me. And I think things are going to get a lot better. There's so much bad news that's already been played out and so much good news awaiting ahead of us. MB, I know you want to focus less on price action. I'm referring more to the fundamentals behind such moves. Again, I think the price action is reflecting fundamentals across the markets and just end of negativity. And I think that's a cyclical move because, again, when we look at a lot of different things, they're pointing in the right direction, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I'm not. All right, MB, which ultimately have an impact on the broader market. Yes, all those things. Maytag. Here we go. Hit the like. Yes, please. MB, perhaps you can have a look at today's S&P close with us. Yeah, so we looked at both. Both of them are great. They're both wicks. One of them isn't as bullish, but it's still fucking awesome considering what it came off of and the fact that we've got above all this previous, price action. Tony, thank you for signing up for the new pack. Again, it's $1.99. It's cheaper for people that stick around. If you don't quit on me, I won't quit on you. So, well worth it. All right, let's keep going. All right, Mark Bentley. Hey, Jesse, that double checking that it was you helping me with setting Coinbase hard wallet. Did I do it? I don't know. If I did, I can check my comments, man. I don't remember doing any of that. Here's the thing. All I would ever do, and I don't even think I tell people what my hardware wallet is, bro. And again, Coinbase doesn't have a hardware wallet. They have a software wallet. So you can go to Coinbase and you can either use their exchange, which is a hot wallet, or you can go to Coinbase and they have like a wallet that you can use. It's a separate app like on your phone, but it's a software wallet. It's not a hardware wallet. A hardware wallet implies that there's something physical in nature. So, and I don't know, maybe I gave you instructions on how to do a specific one if you had it, but that's all I would ever do. You should never, I don't know. I would not, yeah. You should just, there's tons of videos to figure shit like that out. So look at them, would be my advice. JP Stowe, hello. Concord, S&P rebalancing as opposed to, we talked about that. Luis Martinez, SMLR for small position. I know there may be some hype in it, but fundamentally it looks good and they have a good Bitcoin strategy. I haven't really followed them too much. Let me just pull them up real quick here. SMLR. Oh, that's scientific. Oof, yeah, that scares me. How much did this thing bounce a lot? I don't even know. I don't know what their financials look like. So they announced Bitcoin, I think, right? So they went from 22 to 34. See those Bitcoin pumps? That's a 50% like increase. And now it's retracing back to peak volumes. So will a company like this do all right? Probably. But yeah, if you were buying them, it would have been nice to own them at $21, not at 34, and then watching a bunch of it retrace down to 28. Yes, it could be bottoming here, and it could go up higher. What does the actual fucking company do, though? Is this like I just would rather own MicroStrategy or a Bitcoin miner for a play instead of like something that nobody gives a fuck about. Not that this couldn't do well. But their year-over-year revenue growth, they've flatlined in revenue going back to 2020, the pandemic, pretty much. They're making about $6 million a quarter. I mean, that's optimistic. Maybe $5 million a quarter. They're a $200 million market cap. The PE ratio is 10, but the forward is 19 because of the fact that their revenues are in decline. They have a good cash position. They have no debt. $62 million in cash. So, I mean, out of the $197 million valuation, like over 1/3 of it is just their cash position. That's not a bad place to be in at all, in my opinion. What does the estimate look like? But this isn't good. What is this, dude? Why are they losing money since 2022? That's not good in my opinion. And so the PE ratio could actually be rich if they just keep losing money. I don't know enough about this company though to know what was it, Kodak or something that like turned into a blockchain company last cycle or the cycle before. I don't remember. It's all fucking like, it's all blurry in my mind, but like, I don't know. Is this company really doing anything, or are they just trying to get people to buy the stock and now insiders are selling off? You know, speaking of that, no, they bought in Q3 of 2023. So maybe there's something here. But again, they sold though. They sold in Q2 of 2023. So it's like, it's kind of a wash. I don't know what's going on with this company. I don't know if they're real. I don't know if there's a point to any of this. I would rather stick with MicroStrategy and all the other stuff. Hey guys, I think we're at about an hour and 40 because I started early. I don't want these things to go on forever, so I'm probably going to call it. I'll just look at some more recent comments here. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Cool. Yep, farmers selectively and domestic generic drug makers are still that I would subsidize. Generic drug. Yeah, generic. Yeah. I would do something to change the system where generics are able to happen quicker. But you also don't want to de-incentivize drug companies from making experimental drugs. But again, like, I don't know. I don't like subsidies. I don't like big government. I don't like any of that shit. We just need to make sure that we're out-competing China. That's all I care about. As long as we're covering those bases. Flash crash today. I don't know what you're talking about, MC Gyms. In what? Are you talking about Warren Buffett's fund that had a technical glitch? Because the markets actually look great today. MB on energy. Have a look at Jinko. Probably not going to do that today. BlackBerry probably just recovers. C-list. I once made big money shorting RIM circa 2007. Yeah, that would have been a good one. Just knowing that if you knew about the Apple iPhone, right around the time the iPhone was happening, and then you looked at a BlackBerry, dump that shit, dude. Dump it to the fucking ground. That was an easy play. C-list. I wish I would have been old enough and more in markets around that time. I was in markets, but I was an idiot. So I didn't make any money. I just lost it. After that, losing big money, shorting them. Yeah. So you made money and then you lost it. I totally get that. C-list. Jesse, what would you make of cryptos that have no network transferability like Tau? And yeah, I don't know, man. I think the more, I'm not dialing too far down the risk curve. Again, I've showed you guys what I own. I've got some shit coins. I honestly, like, I'd say it's really pretty much Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin. That's almost all my money. And Bitcoin making up 80% of that or something, 70%. I don't know what the number is right now. I'd have to look. But it's making up a lot of it, right? So, I don't know, for what that's worth. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole. There's other people to talk to about crypto-related shit. James is a great one. There's a bunch of people that follow them. I just get tired of keeping up with Shitcoin Valley. It's not really my thing. I just try and find the top ones, make my multiplier. That's all I care about. Otherwise, I don't need to make the 100x. If I'm making 10, I'm super fucking rich. So, I mean, yeah, I made 700% last year. I'd like to get at least 100% this year. And if I can get a couple hundred, 200, 300% at least next year, that gets me in like the 20 million-ish range, at least in my math. Maybe 30 if I'm lucky. I mean, China makes 90% of bulk drug ingredients. India, then, yeah, we need to lessen all of this stuff with China. But yeah, I got to piss. So we're done. I'm calling it. I got to go to the bathroom. I need more coffee too. I got shit to do. We got all these kids to get rid of. So you guys have a good day. Thank you as always for being here. Hopefully you're getting value out of these videos. And there's less of them and it's more condensed. If so, please comment and tell me that. That would be great. And make sure you hit the likes, not just the heart. Anyway, thank you guys for sticking around. To the roughly 264 that are still here this far in, I appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you on Thursday. Or I'm sorry, Wednesday this time for sure. Peace out. Bye.
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value. We call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right? Like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, I mean, right, but I mean, we can all look Bitcoin sort of as
forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. 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 We call them poor.